we're now going to go to our final speaker, who is Andreia Nobre. She is living in Belgium. She is a journalist at QG Feminista and 4W. She's the author of Grumpy Guide to Radical Feminism, and she's written a report on women's sex-based depression in the 21st century. She's going to tell us about that report and possibly other stuff. So it's so fantastic you've been on before, and it's lovely to see you, Andreia. So yeah, so what about this report? Where is it, and what have you got in it?
This report is about, okay, I tried to make a report about the issues affecting women and girls around the world in the last century. But this report, the interesting thing about this, to put in perspective, okay, this is, don't mind the lettering is Portuguese, it's in 8 languages. So this is the Portuguese, this is the Grumpy Guide to Radical Feminism in Portuguese. So this perspective of issues as reported in the media for a decade only. This is only a decade. Imagine if I have gone since, I don't know, the 19th. The scope of this report is charting female oppression around the world, things happening right now. The background of this report was that when I came to Twitter, I was still in the mindset that we had achieved so much. Women can vote, even though Billy Bragg has just said on Twitter that women have won their rights over men. I don't know if you have seen that.
Wow.
Yes, she just said that at the expense of men, you know. Mm. So I thought I'm going to make a Twitter thread on issues that used to happen to women and doesn't happen anymore, right? So women used to be forbidden from voting, scold bridles, what is it called? Foot biting, this kind of stuff. And then I made a big mistake. I was talking to women, trying to listen to women as well. That's very important, to talk to other women and to listen to as many women as you can as well. And I did the mistake of saying female genital mutilation. And then I met Hibu Adair, the amazing Hibu Adair, who is fighting against female genital mutilation. And she said to me, Andreia, these are the statistics. And I was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. Is anyone reporting on this? Because I'm a journalist, so I started collecting issues as reported in news outlets. So this report has issues at least from 2013 to 2023, as reported in news outlets, and it has 3 main sections. It has issues affecting girls, issues affecting adult women, and issues affecting older women. I make some conclusions through how this works. It's just all these news outlets that I collected, these news stories I collected, they give a sense, they give a real sense of women oppression not only existing, but they exist, they are global. There are several issues that happened, like no country can escape from have statistics of that. It's obstetric violence, even female genital mutilation happens like in at least 90 countries, so it's a global problem. Domestic violence, femicide, sexual abuse. No country has equal female representation. No country has equal wages for men and women in the same position with the same professional qualifications, So this is another tool for us, just as like the Grumpy Guide to Radical Feminism, that's meant to be like a lightweight conversation, an introduction to the feminist theory, radical feminism.
This is what the United Nations used to do, is give a global roundup of the sort of situation, and then now they're focusing on specific issues, like, and then quite obfuscating, like gender equality, and then they think that men can become women. So it's really annoying. But this looks as if it's really straightforward information about what's happening in the world.
It's sex-based
really useful.
oppression, regardless of a self-declared gender identity as trans, men, non-binary. I cover many of these issues happening to women who self-declare as trans or non-binary. I cover issues that it's happening to women regardless of gender identity, men who self-declare as trans, discriminating, I try to make a point as well I try to not use many news stories with very fantasist language, in the pieces I decided to use, I redacted them. So sometimes it may be very difficult to read because it may say like a mother, and then it is like this, the father in the original piece, because I needed to, I wanted to get people to understand that that woman was being oppressed, was being discriminated, even though she identified as trans, she self-declared as trans or non-binary or a unicorn.
And where we can get it from?
In the website, okay? I'm going to make, it's already for free, okay? So you click on that and you have to click in the sentence, free download here. Don't click in buy.
Yeah, okay.
Click in the sentence, free download here, and then you're gonna be able to download it. Download it for free. Send this to your political representatives, send it to head teachers, send it to anyone that you think might be able to understand the plight that women are still having, because we are being told that we are not oppressed anymore. And I'm like, really?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Really? This is only 1 decade. So if you'd like to support my work, okay, if you are a little bit short of money, go on the website. The link is in the chat. And if you would like to have like a paperback, you can get it from Amazon, from the website Club de Autores, where you can get as well the Grumpy Guide to Radical Feminism, the Grumpy Guide to Motherhood, another humor book. And then if you want to support me, you can get the paperbacks. But if you feel that is going to add to a work to explain to people that a gender identity means nothing whatsoever if you are born with female anatomy.
It's so nice of you to make it free. It's just unbelievable, because it means that we can all use it. And so you're suggesting that we get that and we send it to representatives and say,
download the PDF if you have the chance, have the emails of people who like city councilors, mayors, governors, anyone in a place of authority, but also get this, locally, because it's not like it's written in a very academic language. It's already written in a very clear, direct language, because the bulk of the book is the title of a news story, then a really important bit from the news story and the references.
It's incredibly well referenced, and then we can, when people say, oh, it doesn't happen anymore, we don't need our special sex-based rights because we're all equal now, you've got, this is it, this is the answer that we just can ping out everywhere.
Yeah, we intend to, we have these Brazilian groups I work with, and we have all the intention to send a copy to our Brazilian government because they just created a women's department in this new socialist, leftist government with Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. But then they are all saying things like, we have like the word all in Portuguese. So todas, women, todos, men, and then they want to say todes for apparently the unicorns and non-binaries. I don't know.
Yes, yeah.
And they're calling us cis, and I'm like, I won't be calling myself or anyone cis. I'm not a cis woman. For God's sake, the word cis was created by a man who was like sympathetic to pedophiles. I'm a child sexual abuse survivor. You have no right. They have no right whatsoever to demand I call myself a cis woman. And besides, cis woman implies that there is such a thing as women born with female anatomy, which is a subcategory of the female class, apparently. And then there are women who are born with male anatomy.
Because of our work and you want to get this out because of the situation we're in, it's amazing you can do it for free.
I don't actually have like financial independence, you know.
Yeah.
The thing is, what happens to me is that we moved around so much for my husband's job that I didn't manage to catch up with the language. So we lived I'm from Brazil, I speak Portuguese, and then I lived in the UK. It took me 10 years to learn English, and then now I can speak in English. But it's even in English, it would be harder for me to get a job as a journalist, maybe, you know, there could be issues. But then we moved to Spain and then France and then Belgium, and then I didn't catch up. And then and also I had, in the meantime, 2 kids, and one of them, my younger child, is on the autism spectrum. So it's like, you know, people sometimes ask me, Andreia, how can you manage to do a work like this report, like the books that you wrote and stuff like that, and have 2 kids and stuff like that? Well, the answer is very, very simple, because my husband is like traveling around, you know, and I'm like, okay, if I want to stay with him, I have to go and stuff like that. And I have to stay a little bit longer with a child on the autism spectrum, you know. I'm gonna get my 14-year-old child to bring my 9-year-old home from school by themselves because of my 9-year-old, because he might not obey the 14-year-old, etc. So because I have to be there for them, and I'm happy to be there. But then, like, because of that, I don't have like a job that, you know, I get on from 9 to 5. So I have a little bit more time. Of course, I do quality time with my kids and stuff like that. It's just, you know, when women are really, really multitasking, I still am multitasking. So like when I go and put something in the oven to cook, you know, there is already like, I never start cooking before putting the clothes in the washing machine. So I have a lot of tips on that.
Andreia, is there one last thing you'd like to add?
Well, you know, use this report as much as you can. Send this to politicians, send this to schools, start talking. If you need something like a little bit more lightweight, you know, get the Grumpy Guide to Radical Feminism to talk to teenagers, like the youngest have been 13-year-olds, so to read the book. So get girls to talk about how uncomfortable they are in sharing toilets with boys, unisex toilets, how the boys are always, you know, get everyone talking, get boys to talk, get girls to talk to friends, talk to anyone, you know. So the Grumpy Guide is in 8 languages right now. It's in English, Portuguese, French, German, Italy, and Dutch and Greek.